Hey guys, how's it going? Solo back with another daily update video, and a few things before we get started. In this video, I'm going to talk about what happened in the stock market, basically the last hour of the trading day, and then I'm going to get into my positions on AMD and what my thoughts and plans are for this coming week and really this coming month. But before we get going, if you could drop a comment below for the YouTube algorithm, I would really appreciate it. I don't care what you comment, make it funny, make it serious, post your trade ideas, whatever you want to do, but leave a comment below and smash that like button, and let's get right into it. So looking at the heat map, you can see it's a lot of red on the board, and we didn't look like this for the vast majority of the day, but around 3 p.m., and I'll show you on the SPY chart, around 3 p.m., a certain somebody with an orange tinge to him made a tweet that basically said that the Repubs and the Dems are very far apart on stimulus talks, and that he plans to not do any more talking or negotiating until after the election. So he actually encouraged his own party to no longer negotiate anymore. So as you can imagine, that caused the stock market to just basically crash. I mean, the SPY dipped really hard in 15 minutes, which I'll show you in just a second. But take a look at this heat map here. Big tech, all down at least 2%. Semiconductors also down. AMD got hit pretty hard at just about 2%. Nvidia, though, ended the day green. They were up big today because they were upgraded by a few analysts. And yes, they sold off a little bit because of the same news, but they managed to stay in the green. Even the Honey Badger was down about 0.6%. So let's take a look at SPY right now, and then I'll talk about my technical analysis and where I think we're going from here. But just take a look at the Robinhood graph. So we were pretty much flat all day long, started to rally a little bit after noon till we got up to about 342, a few pennies shy of $342, up about 0.6%. But you can see from 245 all the way down to 325, but really from 245 to 255 in 10 minutes. We dropped from about 342 to about 336. We dropped $6 in SPY, which is a massive move for the SP500 ETF. We dropped that in 10 minutes. Guess what time the tweet came out? Right about here. So absolutely craziness. I mean, I think we're still a little bit reeling from the news there, because now I'm worried what's going to happen tomorrow. You can see we closed the day on SPY down 1.4%, but we're still continuing to sell off as I'm making this video after hours. We're down another 0.5% after hours. So let's take a look at the technical analysis on SPY on TradingView. Now, if you missed this video a while back, I made a sort of step-by-step charting or tutorial video on SPY. That's where all of this data is coming from right now because it was saved. But it looks like it's holding up pretty well so far. So these are daily candles. Each candle here represents 1 day of trading. And if I zoom in here, you can see this big red candle represents the trading day today. But this yellow line represents an area of resistance that I identified at about $339. And this is significant because if you look back on October 1st, September 30th, it was acting as resistance. It had a hard time, SPY had a hard time breaking above 339. If we go back in time a little bit further, you can see back on September 14th, it was again resistance. We were finally able to break above it on September 15th and 16th, where then it was acting as support, but then we promptly broke back down below it. But the real reason why this is a strong area of resistance is if I zoom out. And if I zoom out in time and go back to pre-illness levels back around February 19 and 20, that's when SPY was at its all-time highs at about 339, 340. So even if the tweet didn't come out, I think we were going to have a hard time either breaking and or staying above 339, because that is pre-illness all-time highs. And I think most reasonable people will tell you that the economy right now is not as strong as it was pre-illness. So I think we were going to meet resistance here a lot, and we probably would have bounced off it tomorrow anyway, but I think the tweet just accelerated things. So let's zoom in again. The other interesting thing is that we closed the day below this pink line here, which is the 50-day moving average. You can see yesterday, we basically opened there, and then we were able to close above this area of resistance. So what I wanted to see today was SPY stay above and close above 339-ish so that I can confirm that yes, we've now broken this area of resistance and it's now an area of support, but we weren't able to do that. So that tells me that again, 339 is still an area of strong resistance. And I'm a little bit bearish because we closed the day below the 50-day moving average. So again, we were able to stay above it and close above it yesterday, but today we could not confirm it. The next test is going to be this orange line here in my opinion, and that's a 21-day moving average. So more short-term data, but you can see this intraday wick, we got as low as about 334 today. This 21-day moving average is right around 333. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens tomorrow because this is going to act as an area of support. So I think right now, based on the data that I have in front of me, I think we're going to trade between 333 and 339 until something happens to either side, either to the upside or to the downside. I think if we break 333, the next area of support is right here at about 332. Now, just keep in mind, these are not exact numbers. These are more areas. So you could basically say that this 21-day moving average and this area of support are one and the same, somewhere between about 332 and 333. And I drew this because you can see some of these candles here on September 28th and 29th, it was acting as support. And also here on September 30th, we got awfully close. If I zoom out, you can also see here, September 10th, September 8th, we used it as resistance. And also for a few days here in early August. But again, if I zoom out here in time, you can see that same level of support was actually right here back in early February. For a few trading candles, we were using it as support. So I think that is another strong area of support that I'm going to be watching to see if that holds up. Because I think if we break 333, 332, well then the next stop, based on my technical analysis, is sub 330, somewhere around 327. There's also a Fibonacci retracement level here, which is the 23.6% level at 326. So I think if we break 330, we're going to hit 326, 327 as the next area of support. What I'm hoping is we have a green day overnight and pre-market, and then we open up green and we have a bullish day tomorrow so that we can just write off today as a fluke and then again use the 50-day moving average, which is going to be around 336, 337 as support, and then rally above 340, let's say. I think if we rally past 340, then now the sky's the limit. Looking at some of these close candles here back in middle of September, I think the next area of resistance is going to be around 342 because you can see a few of these wicks here on the September 8th, 9th, 10th, 15th, and 16th basically topped out around 342-ish, mid 342s, I should say. And you can see today, intraday, we also got up to that point as well. So I'm looking for a breakout above 338, 339, up to a new area of resistance at 342. That's my hypothesis. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But that's my thoughts and my technical analysis on SPY. Let's talk about my trades right now. So longtime viewers know I have 200 shares of AMD, and I'm just itching to sell covered calls on them because I was assigned shares at $85 per share. And unfortunately today we had a pretty red day in AMD, down almost 2.2%. So really have to decide now what strikes and what days to expiration, or how many days to expiration do I want to sell these covered calls. Because I am bullish on AMD this whole month due to earnings coming up at the end of the month. This Thursday, in 2 days, AMD is going to release the new Zen 3 chipset, which I think is going to be absolutely great in terms of their performance and their price point, like AMD usually is recently. And then also on October 28th, they're going to release the new GPU cards. So a lot of areas of catalyst this month in AMD, and I believe that we can hit $100 or more on AMD by the end of the month. I thought AMD was going to be $85 by the end of the week. We hit $85 yesterday. And I think we would have had a decent day. We would have had an overall flat day if that tweet didn't come out. So this is not great because you don't want to sell covered calls on a red day because usually the premiums are a little bit less. So I'm going to hope and see if there's a covered call that I can sell for good premium tomorrow if we have a green day. If I don't open a position tomorrow and I open up a position Thursday or Friday, I will most likely not make it a weekly option, and I'll most likely sell that covered call for the following week, at least on October 16th. You know, I will not sell a covered call less than my cost basis, or my strike, I should say, at 85. And like I said, I want to hold on to these shares. So I'm really looking at selling a covered call at least at about $90. If I were to open that position today for this following Friday, then I would still collect $31 in premium, which is not bad. I mean, $31 in premium for 8,500 in collateral or capital, that's still a 0.4% almost return on my capital, which is not bad. That's my personal minimum that I like to get every week. But I want to select a strike that is going to be safe and not have my shares called away. Because the last thing I want to happen is that I get my shares called away at 90, and then in a few weeks, AMD goes to 100. That means I've left a lot of money on the table. So let's take a look at the TradingView chart on AMD to check out my technical analysis. And the one thing I'm looking at is right now on AMD, we're still bouncing off 83 as an area of support, which is good news for me because there's the 23.6% Fibonacci level right there in the light red line. And I also drew a trend line here based on some of this price action lately. So the fact that that held up makes me more confident in my technical analysis. And you can see the area of resistance right now, based on my TA, is at about $88. And you can see intraday, we got awfully close to that in terms of the intraday price action. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But I really hope that AMD stays above 83, and I hope it stays below $87, $88, because if I sell my strike at $90, I don't want my shares to get called away. If I want it to be really safe, I could sell it at $94 or more, because that was basically the all-time high for AMD, and I think it's going to take a lot of juice for AMD to get above 94. But I'm also a little bit waiting for this news conference on Thursday, because I think if AMD has an awesome conference, they release good news, good CPUs with good performance at a good price, then we could maybe hit $90 by the end of the week if the market agrees with that. And again, I don't want to end up leaving a lot of money on the table. So I'm perfectly fine not opening up any options this week. I might just wait until after the conference Thursday or maybe Friday morning to open up a covered call for the following week. And who knows, maybe I'll sell a monthly option and try and play the conference and the earnings coming up later in the month. But we'll just see how the day plays out. That's my trading thoughts on AMD. I want to hold these shares. I don't want to get them called away. I'm still overall profitable by a little bit because AMD closed just under $85, and I've been able to reduce my cost basis over the past few weeks by selling other covered calls. But I believe AMD has a lot of room to run, so I do want to hold shares and basically squeeze as much profit out of AMD as I can before I let my shares go. So those are my thoughts for today. Let me know what you think about SPY. Let me know what your trading plans are. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. And as always, happy trading.